Alright, let's see what we can watch tonight. Something to relax, calm down, get ready to go to bed for my Amtrak trip tomorrow. Oh, look. Someone looking to fix their own GPU.
This is the graphics card that I broke. This is the thing I broke off of it. And yes, I contacted Louis Rossman's guys and they gave me a price and a quote to fix it. And it's actually a really good quote. But I'm gonna see if I can't fix it myself today.
All right, let's see how this goes. I think Shane told him $50 if it's straightforward and just a piece that fell off. With graphics cards, we don't usually fix these because I have no schematics, no diagrams, no board views, no parts. We're a no-fix, no-fee business, so if we can't fix it, we don't charge you. And when there's such a low chance of me fixing it, because I don't even know the name of what you knocked off or what it is or what the value of it is or where to get it, because there's no documentation, the chances of fixing it are pretty low, so we usually don't do that. But if you knocked off a component, you know what it is, and I can figure out the orientation that it's supposed to go, then usually it's just $50 to reattach it. And that is, I believe, what we quoted here. But let's see. I'm always interested in watching people's repair attempts at stuff, and this could be fun.
Today's video is sponsored by Audible and their huge got a about best part. They're massive to audible.com.
I wish I could get my viewers to watch a 1-minute ad.
Because of the fact that it was had liquid metal sitting on there, which messed up some of the solder.
For like months.
A long time, yeah. But you know, Steve told me he left it on for a year before and didn't have any problems. So I thought we were in the clear, but.
All right, so one of the things here, I remember doing a video a few years ago, and I was so ignorant with this. I was looking at this video card somebody brought in to get fixed and thinking, wow, they solder this like crap. I can't believe it leaves the factory this way. And since I haven't overclocked anything like over 12 years, I just don't have the time or inclination to bother with it. I didn't know that the way people volt mod now, or, you know, modify the cards is to, instead of solder, use this liquid metal stuff. Because this gallium stuff, it eats away at the solder and just destroys everything. I thought the card was manufactured like shit. I didn't know that the customer who brought it to me was lying about not having fuck with it themselves, because they did fuck with it themselves, obviously, by putting that liquid metal shit on there. What the liquid metal, that gallium stuff does, it eats away at the solder and just destroys it all. And it does terrible things to the board, as you can see from an old video I did. Now, why do people do this? The reason people do this is to get around a current sensing circuit. So current sensing is the way that this card is going to tell how much power certain parts of it are using. And MacBooks have current sensing circuits as well. How much power is the CPU using? How much power is the GPU using? How much power is PPBus G3 Hot using? The reason for having a current sensing circuit is so that you can scale things down if it's using seemingly too much. So if the battery charging circuit, it sees that it's using 40 watts, keep going. If it reads the battery charging circuit is using 2,000 watts, the MacBook's probably on fire. Turn it off. And the way that the circuit can tell how much current a specific piece is using is by having a current sense resistor in between the source of power and the destination for that power. It's kind of like having your hand in a stream. Now, the current sense resistor, you're going to have two sides of it, and there's going to be a voltage drop that is proportional to the amount of current the system is using. So if it's 17 volts on one side of the resistor and 16.9999999 volts in the other, the system's going to think, okay, that's barely any voltage drop. It's not using a lot of current. It's fine. Whereas if it sees 17 volts on one side of the current sense resistor and like 12 volts on the other side, it's going to think, holy crap, it's using thousands of watts. Turn that off so people don't die of this graphics card fire or whatever. Something like that. Now, what people are doing here is they're trying to squeeze more out of their card when they overclock, and I imagine what they're doing is they're trying to trick the card into thinking it's using less power than it is. So remember, the card thinks it's using more power when there's a larger voltage drop across the shunt resistor. So if you just jumper over it with a wire, there's not going to be any voltage drop from one side to the other. Therefore, the card is going to think it's probably using 0 watts of power, and it's just going to let you keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, which you probably can do if you have proper cooling and don't mind taking some time, some lifespan away from the chip, which a lot of heavy overclockers don't. Now, the right way to do this would be putting a resistor. Usually what I like to do is put a resistor in parallel, and I did this with a bike controller. So this way you have the resistance, which means that there's going to be probably less of a drop. Or what you could do is you could just put a wire over it, which is a bit more ghetto. You don't get really gradients of how much you're modifying it that way. It's just you're bypassing the circuit altogether, which I usually wouldn't recommend. But you could put a wire around it. You could put a solder blob over it. These are all ways to do it, which even if they're kind of ghetto, will get you what you're looking for. Whereas this liquid metal thing, it just winds up destroying your board entirely. I would not recommend doing it.
I think it would have been fine if I hadn't accidentally pried on it. I think the prying on it, and Louis Rossmann already talked about how terrible these SMDs are all soldered down. He has a whole...
I'm still so ashamed of that video because I was blaming NVIDIA for the cards rather than the customer, because I was ignorant of the overclocking and video card thing, and also the customer told me that, I didn't mess with this card at all, but I forgot the primary rule Dr. House talks about every single episode: everyone lies.
Whole video about it. Actually, I watched it. It's a combination of like the gallium effect plus the way I was trying to clean it by scraping it. It caught the end and popped it off. So it probably would not have broken off, and it would be just fine, just like the other one, had I not done a terrible way of cleaning it. I highly recommend sending it to a professional to get it fixed. I'm not a professional. I'm gonna try and fix it though, because that's what this channel is all about. But I'm not going to jump right into it. I am going to see if our broken... We have a lot of broken graphics cards around here, don't we?
We're starting, dude.
Our broken 9800 DTX Plus, I'm going to see if this has... It should have a resistor on the other side. There's none on the back. I'm going to practice on this card since we already broke it. And I'm doing that with my trusty iFixit! Also, too, the only thing that's probably right for this job is the iFixit, honestly, and tearing down the graphics card, because I'm using this guy. Not the right soldering iron. Let me explain.
No.
I know a lot of you out there following this channel are electrical engineers and do this stuff for a living, because you've all reached out to me. And trust me, I am very appreciative of all of you saying, just send the card and some money to ship it back and you'll fix it. And I trust that all of you would send me back a $2,500 graphics card when I send to someone that I don't know. That's besides the point. This is a rare opportunity where I get to do something for the first time ever on this channel that I've never done before. So I'm gonna be doing it the wrong way for a couple of reasons. One, as much as I've been researching, I can't seem to find any definitive tutorials on how to do it the right way. So I'm gonna do it the way I sort of think I should. The other thing too is I think this is also very indicative of what a lot of people out there in the general public would do. They'd be like, oh, I broke that off. I need to get a soldering iron. I need to solder that back on. I don't know what kind of solder to use. What temperature should I use? I don't know. So we've got a 25 watt up to 750F. I don't know if that's right. I mean, there were other ones that up to like 60 watts and like 900 degrees. So I don't know.
My micro pencil's more powerful than that.
What I'm doing. But many of you might agree that I don't know what I'm doing with anything. And to that, that's fine. But
I hear that all the time. You do you, Jay.
Oh my, this is a great
I did try.
I hate that packaging too. I don't blame him.
And fine, and I'm not a noob to soldering. I just don't have any of my actual decent soldering stuff here. I also have some really fine solder somewhere that's not here. And I couldn't find any when I went to Lowe's, which is undoubtedly the worst place to buy soldering stuff from. I used to get all that stuff I needed.
I got fired from Lowe's Home Delivery in 2006 because I got sick, I had a 103 fever, and I took 2 days off from work. I remember that was the first job I got after Modell's Sporting Goods. I was making $6.90.5, $6.905 an hour at Modell's, and because I remember that, because if you're in the union, you get a 17.5-cent raise, which is counteracted by the union dues. And I remember thinking like, I doubled my salary, yes! I never felt so rich as I did working for Lowe's Home Delivery until I got fired for getting a fever.
From Radio Shack. We all know what happened there. So for starters, let me go ahead and get this card cooler off and see if there's an SMD on the other side of this. If there's not, then I'm just gonna start going around the shelf to find a graphics card that I don't mind mutilating to practice on. So the tip that came on the soldering iron is a little too big for what we want to do, I think. So I'm gonna turn this tip using my drill, like a lathe, to try and make it more pointy.
No, stop that. Buy the right tip. Why are you using
So
conical?
this is the one I have to replace right here.
Oh,
And as
no,
you can
you're
see,
using
there's
conical.
individual pads on each
No.
side with that divide down the middle.
No.
So I can't just put solder on there and push it down because that will
Conical
probably
tips
lock us
suck.
at 300 megahertz because that will be bridging where it shouldn't be. So I've got to put a little bit of solder there, probably a tiny bit there, and on both sides, and then heat up the resistor and smoosh it down. But I don't have any on this card to allow me to practice. All right, well,
Are you setting it?
yeah, because that other card it's not working very well. All right, so there is solder. There is some solder still on there.
Yeah, you're just gonna put some solder on top, then
don't
wick
really
it
wanna
off because
add
that's all
more.
junk anyway. What? Why aren't you touching the pad on the board?
I'm gonna try just putting a little bit on there.
No, you're not. You have to touch the soldering iron to the pad. Well, stop.
So it almost
Okay,
like,
I think it's it's still not touching the board on the board.
It's just like
Solder
a
the pads
second.
and hot air it. Why aren't you touching the pad on the board? The pad on the board wants heat. Stop.
It sure broke off. It broke off really easy, but
so you did get
It wasn't
you did get
soldered
it to
on.
stick, but
I was getting it to stick, yeah.
What do you mean stick? It's supposed to be soldered. It's not stick. Fuck you think this is Elmer's glue? What? Heat the board!
Probably really difficult for experts to watch.
Heat the
I don't know how
fucking
you're supposed to heat
board!
it. Like, do you have a special thing that touches both ends and just heats it properly? I'm a
The iron, you...
feels like it's on there. I feel like putting a little hot glue over it.
What?
Feels on there. So what I'm gonna do, because I don't want to put the stock cooler back on, because that's got a bajillion, million, trillion screws. I'm just gonna screw this guy on. I don't want to do any hot glue or anything on there to kind of like hold it down, because it's all just making contact, right? Because what I am kind of worried may have happened here is it might now be touching, like it might be bridging those two pads together or whatever, and now it's gonna
Those are
just
supposed to be bridged.
lock itself because now it's
solder
not on there properly. So I'll be honest,
solder
I'm not
meant.
feeling very confident right now. Because I just know I did such a terrible job soldering that. There's no possible way that that could work. Because that's the ugliest solder. I don't know what kind of detail the camera was picking up, but it was pretty bad.
What solder?
I'm
There
almost
is no solder
positive
there.
it's bridging where it shouldn't. That's the thing
There's no
I'm not
bridging,
confident
no.
about. And I know for a fact,
Bridge the
if
resistance to the
if
board,
that
please.
area bridges and then it sees no resistance, then it's gonna just immediately clock down to 300. That's what it does. That's why we could pop off those resistors and the card would work. It would just go down to 300 because that's exactly what Der Bauer was saying when they tried to, like when they soldered wires across it and stuff to bypass the resistor, which I guess used to work in the olden days. Like I feel like this card's also just one jolt from like that little piece going bloop and falling out. That's why I want to, well, I guess I could super glue it too. I got some of that, but that's why I want to do hot glue on it.
No.
Then it can't
No
go.
glue.
And then send it to Louis Rossman and be like, hey, what do you
Empty the
think?
glue!
Tell me what you think of my repair.
Do not touch the glue!
just mail back a picture of a middle finger.
We're on the same
Not
page.
everyone should have the right to repair if this is how they're going to do it.
Everybody
Cannot
deserves
establish
right to
connection with
repair.
update server. Oh, that's fine. We're not online. Shut up! We're fine. Dude, it's at 1350 megahertz already. Because I have it set to the prefer maximum performance automatically goes to 1350. Wait. No freaking way. 1935, 1950. Okay, let me max power limit. There's 2040. There's 2070. 54C.
This is not fair.
It's just got the 2080 Ti, like basic double
is
fan
not
cooler
fair.
on there.
I spent 3 hours today on 3 MacBooks that all had dead CPUs. I ran all my jumper wires properly. I replaced my CD3215s. I got rid of all the corrosion by my TPS 51980. I fixed the backlight circuit. I removed the corrosion under the CPU and by the CPU vCore MOSFETs that turned PPBus G3 hot into PP vCore SO CPU. And it was brain dead, and he just took a fucking resistor and pushed on it, and The $2,500 graphics card works? And this guy just takes a resistor and just taps on it onto the board. It's not even soldered. It's not even connected. And it works. Not only does it work, but it overclocks. I could spend 5 hours fixing a MacBook. It barely works properly at its stock clock. This is not fair. Now I know what Paul feels like when he comes in to see his queue. Like, well, what am I doing wrong here? Is it that I don't have Audible as a sponsor? What do I need to do for my queue to be this easy?
1.037 millivolts. So our 1,037 millivolts.
Not
7,000
fair.
megahertz on the memory. That's the ugliest solder job. And I'm
That's
not
not a
confident I
solder
wouldn't
job.
go on the card and it wouldn't go bink and fall off.
You stabbed the resistor
I
onto
think
the
we could have
board.
fixed it without soldering it at all. I feel like I
You
could have
did
just
not
like held
solder
it
it.
down there and be like,
You bastard.
super glue or
You lucky
super glue,
bastard.
hot glue, and just would have been fine. As long as it's making connection. It may not be the greatest connection, but as long as it's making connection, it works.
It's
the
fucking
wrong
levitating.
iron, it's the wrong solder, it was the wrong technique. I filed down the
Don't
tip
blame
because
that
the tip
solder.
was too big.
That's innocent solder.
It cost me $19 because I used the solder that came with it, which still stinks in here because it's the wrong solder.
I spent more than 20 bucks on the two
well, it
CD3215s
has
today.
flex
I
on it,
wasted
but
on a board with a dead
it
CPU.
freaking works. So what do you do with it now? Put it back on the shelf? I gotta super glue it still. Or I keep saying super glue. I gotta hot
Stop.
glue it.
Empty the glue.
This is gross.
Empty the glue, you madman. Show me the glue. Do not zoom in on his face. I want to see what he's doing with his hands. Oh, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? No! No! Stop it! Stop!
I just love the contrast of levels of technology between that die and then that.
Can you not for a second, Phil? Listen. Here's the moral of the story.
Why the fuck did
Yes,
people link me to
there
this?
are people that could fix this for you. And yes, I could have sent this to someone to fix. But I was curious, could I do it? Using all the wrong stuff. Look, it's a Gorilla Glue glue gun.
This is doctored.
It's a Weller.
This is
cheapest
doctored.
soldering iron you could freaking buy.
The card was swapped out.
Anyone that is triggered by this video
Fuck
saying,
every
"Oh my
last
God,
one of
Jay,
you that
I'm an
suggested
electronics
I watch
engineer
this.
and I'm so
All
triggered
of
by
you.
this."
You
should
know
be.
who you are.
I'm not saying this is the way to do it. This is the
This
way
is
I
a
just wanted
quality
to see
troll.
if I could, and I did.
Five-star troll.
Like the army says, if it's a dumb idea but it works, it's not a dumb idea. So,
Jay just did to me what Sonny does to Tesla fans. Has anybody seen this video that Sonny did regarding Teslas and the range on the Tesla and what the numbers and the letters mean on the back of the Tesla? You should watch Sonny's stuff because it's pretty funny. But what Sonny did to Tesla fanboys, and you could see if you read the Reddit thread, it's fucking hysterical. Like, for the best part about what Sonny was doing is that he's clearly trolling. He's clearly 110% trolling. But then people take him seriously and they lose their mind while he's laughing. And he's laughing. I can tell. He's going to be laughing. There's 3 seconds left in this video, but there's going to be laughing. Well done, Jay. Well done.